Welcome to our channel. Today we're diving into the life of one of history's most legendary figures, Alexander the Great. Now, you might already know that he was a conqueror, a king, a general of unparalleled skill. But did you know he was also something of an enigma? A man of contradictions, driven by ambition, yet touched by moments of profound curiosity. Over the next few minutes, we're going to unravel 10 mind-blowing facts about Alexander the Great. Facts that reveal not just his military prowess, but also the man behind the legend. We're talking about his upbringing, his beliefs, his relationships, and the mysteries surrounding his untimely death. Get ready, because we're about to embark on a journey through time, exploring the life of a man who in just 32 years left an indelible mark on the world, shaping the course of history and leaving behind a legacy that continues to inspire awe and wonder to this very day. Chapter 1. Schooled by a Titan, Alexander and Aristotle. You can't talk about Alexander the Great without talking about his education. And no, I don't just mean learning how to swing a sword or command an army. This was an education of the mind, folks. Alexander's father, King Philip II, knew his son needed a teacher who could match his potential, someone who could ignite his curiosity and mold him into a leader. Enter Aristotle. Yes, Aristotle, the philosopher who gave us logic, ethics, and enough scientific theories to fuel centuries of discovery. Imagine being a fly on the wall during those lessons, a young, ambitious Alexander soaking up knowledge like a sponge, debating ethics and metaphysics with the greatest mind of their time. This wasn't just about memorizing facts, it was about cultivating critical thinking, a thirst for knowledge, and an understanding of the world that went far beyond the borders of Macedonia. No wonder Alexander grew up to be more than just a conqueror. He became a visionary, a leader who understood the power of knowledge and its impact on shaping civilizations. Chapter 2. A throne at 20. The weight of legacy. Talk about pressure. Imagine being just 20 years old, fresh out of your philosophical debates, and suddenly, bam! You're thrust onto the world stage because your father, the king, has just been assassinated. That's exactly what happened to Alexander. At an age when most are figuring out their career path, he's handed the reins of an entire kingdom, expected to live up to the legacy of his father, Philip II. But here's the thing about Alexander. He wasn't just handed power, he grabbed it and made it his own. He faced rebellions, consolidated his rule, and then, fueled by ambition and maybe a dash of youthful daring, set out to conquer the known world. This wasn't just some impulsive act of a young king, this was the calculated ambition of a leader shaped by philosophy and driven by an unshakable belief in his own destiny. Chapter 3. 15 years of glory, the undefeated general. You think you're having a good day? Try conquering half the known world before you hit your mid-30s. That's the kind of track record we're talking about with Alexander. For 15 years, he led his armies across continents, from the dusty plains of Persia to the banks of the Indus River, and the man was undefeated. Undefeated. That's not luck, folks. That's strategy, leadership, and a deep understanding of military tactics. But what's even more impressive is that Alexander wasn't just winning battles, he was winning hearts and minds. He understood that true conquest meant more than just military might. It required cultural understanding, diplomacy, and a vision for a unified world. He didn't just want to rule the world, he wanted to build a world where cultures could coexist, where knowledge could flow freely, and where the legacy of Alexander wouldn't be one of fear, but of progress and unity. Chapter 4. The architect of empires more than just a conqueror. Here's something they don't always teach you in history class. Alexander the Great was a city planner extraordinaire. I'm not talking about arranging a few streets and calling it a day. He founded over 20 cities during his conquests, each strategically placed to become a hub of trade, culture, and knowledge. And of course, he had a bit of a naming theme going on. Alexandria, Alexandria, and oh yeah, another Alexandria. But the most famous Alexandria, the one in Egypt, became a beacon of knowledge and learning for centuries. It housed the legendary Library of Alexandria, a repository of scrolls and wisdom from across the ancient world. This wasn't just about leaving his mark, it was about building a legacy that went beyond military conquest. Alexander understood that true power lay in knowledge, in the exchange of ideas, and in creating lasting centers of learning that would shape the world for generations to come. Chapter 5. From Greece to India, an empire like no other. Remember that map of the world you had in school, the one that seemed impossibly large? Now imagine conquering most of it before the age of 30. That's the scale of Alexander's ambition. His empire, at its peak, stretched from Greece in the west all the way to the Indus River Valley in the east, encompassing parts of Europe, Asia, and Africa. This wasn't just a patchwork of conquered lands, it was a network of interconnected cultures, languages and ideas, all held together by the sheer force of Alexander's vision. Imagine the logistics, the communication challenges, the sheer audacity of holding together such a vast and diverse empire. Alexander's success wasn't just about military strength, it was about his ability to adapt, to understand and respect different cultures, and to find ways to unite them under a common banner. It was a feat of leadership rarely seen in history, and it cemented his place as one of the greatest empire builders of all time. Chapter 6. The Oracles Decree a God Among Men. Let's talk about ego for a second. Most of us are happy with a few likes on social media. Alexander, on the other hand, got himself declared a god. Not just any god, mind you, but the son of Zeus Ammon, the chief deity of the Egyptians. This all went down at the Oracle of Siwa, a sacred site in the middle of the Egyptian desert. Now, was this a shrewd political move to solidify his rule, a genuine belief fueled by his own ambition, or maybe, just maybe, Alexander was caught up in the mystique of it all? We may never know for sure. But one thing's certain, being declared a god definitely added another layer of complexity to his already larger-than-life persona. It blurred the lines between king and deity, fueling both devotion and resentment among his followers, and it cemented his image in the annals of history as a ruler who dared to reach for the divine. We've all had our favorite pets, but how many of us can say we named a city after ours? Alexander the Great, well, he wasn't exactly known for doing things by halves. His beloved horse Bucephalus wasn't your average steed. This was a wild stallion that no one else could tame, a creature as fierce and untamed as the man who would become his rider. Legend has it that a young Alexander won the horse in a bet by noticing that Bucephalus was afraid of his own shadow. He tamed the beast, and they became inseparable, charging into battle together, their names forever linked in the annals of history. And when Bucephalus finally died, likely of battle wounds or exhaustion, Alexander was devastated. He honored his loyal companion by founding a city in his name, Bucephala, a testament to their bond and a reminder that even the greatest conquerors have a soft spot for their furry friends. Imagine conquering a vast empire, not just with swords and shields, but with fashion choices. Alexander the Great understood that true power meant more than just military might. It was about winning hearts and minds, about finding common ground and building bridges between cultures. So he did something radical for his time. He embraced the customs and even the clothing of the Persians, the very people he had conquered. He encouraged his officers to marry Persian women, promoting a blending of cultures that was unheard of in those days. He adopted Persian-style clothing, much to the dismay of some of his fellow Greeks. But for Alexander, it wasn't about abandoning his roots. It was about creating a new, unified culture, a fusion of East and West. It was a bold experiment in cultural integration, a precursor to the interconnected world we live in today, where ideas and traditions transcend borders. Picture this. You're at the top of your game, conquering empires, founding cities, being declared a god. Life's good, right? Then, suddenly, at the age of 32, you're gone. That's the tragic mystery surrounding Alexander's death. He was in Babylon, preparing for a new campaign, when he fell ill and died just a few days later. Theories abound about what really happened: poisoning, malaria, typhoid fever, even a relapse of an old war wound. The truth, like so much else about Alexander, remains shrouded in mystery. Imagine the whispers in the palace, the accusations flying, the power vacuum left in the wake of his death. His generals, his companions, his own family, all vying for control of the empire he had so meticulously built. Alexander's death wasn't just a tragedy. It was a catalyst that would plunge his vast empire into chaos, a stark reminder that even the greatest legacies are built on foundations of mortality. Alexander the Great's life was like a comet brilliant, blazing across the sky and gone too soon, but the impact that still felt today. He wasn't just a conqueror, he was a unifier, a visionary, a man who dreamed of a world without borders. He spread Greek culture throughout his empire, laying the groundwork for the Hellenistic period, a golden age of intellectual and artistic flourishing. His conquests opened up trade routes, connecting east and west, leading to an exchange of ideas and goods that would shape the course of history. Think about it, the silk you wear, the spices in your kitchen, the very concept of a globalized world. These all have roots in Alexander's legacy. He showed the world that it was possible to dream big, to break down barriers, and to create a legacy that would echo through the ages. So there you have it, 10 mind-blowing facts about Alexander the Great, a man who wasn't just a conqueror, but a force of nature who changed the world forever. He was a product of his time, shaped by ambition and circumstance, but also a visionary who dared to dream of a world united. His story is a reminder that history is made by individuals, by their choices, their ambitions, and yes, even their flaws. Alexander's life may have been short, but his impact on history is immeasurable. He teaches us about the power of knowledge, the importance of cultural understanding, and the enduring legacy of a life lived on one's own terms. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed learning about Alexander the Great, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more historical insights. See you next time.